Like I said in my last video, I don't know what to tell you about the whole Ryan Lochte situation. It's disgusting. I don't understand why anyone would lie about horrible things happening to them and blaming it on brown people. You know, we've done some shitty things before. I've made jokes about bad things happening to me for attention. But now that I'm older, it's disgusting. Taylor Swift is disgusting for lying on Kanye, and Ryan Lochte is disgusting for lying on some invisible local Brazilians, robbing him and his poor white boys, even though they're in their 30s, and people are trying to say that, oh, they are just kids, they were drunk and immature. No, you know what you did, and you thought you would get away with it. And I am glad that you lost your endorsement, and I hope that you don't come back to the 2012 Olympics. Moving on, Usain Bolt's bitch ass. First of all, I thought Usain Bolt was cool, you know, the fastest athlete alive. He is a Jamaican track and field runner, and people admired him until some Brazilian girl posted a photo of her with Usain Bolt, and she is under fire for it. And first of all, I don't agree we should go in on her, calling her a slut, calling her a hoe, a home wrecker, whatever you want to call her, because it's not her fault that Usain Bolt couldn't keep it in his pants. Because shortly after he was caught, Usain Bolt comes out and says, well, you can't really blame me. I'm Jamaican, and girls throw themselves after me all the time. You know, it's their fault that I cheated. You know, I can't control myself. Be easy on men. You know, women are sluts. Basically, that's what he said, that, you know, these women throw themselves at me all the time, so blame them. Don't blame me. I'm Jamaican, you know, and I know for a fact that's not how Jamaican people think. You know, I'm not Jamaican, so I can't really speak on that aspect, but I definitely know that his statements do not represent Jamaicans. So it's ignorant. That'd be like someone cheating on me and saying, well, you can't blame me. I'm African American. Women throw themselves at me all the time. Like, no, you know what you did. You took it upon yourself to sleep with that girl, and now you are going to reap the repercussions of cheating. But of course, because you are a man, people are going to sit there and say, oh, you know, you made a mistake. Men cheat all the time. Because God forbid, had Simone Biles cheated on her Brazilian boyfriend, then they would be calling her all types of names, and they would probably kick her off the team. So I'm not here for it. I'm not here for this whole I'm a man and women make us cheat because they throw themselves at me all the time, as if you can't have self-control, as if you cannot have self-control. Like, really? It's so ridiculous, and it's an insult to women to think that we are the ones. Even if a woman did find you attractive and she kept throwing herself at you, you can say no. You can say, no, I have a girlfriend, but you wanted to fuck her. You wanted to fuck her. And as I said, you know, I'm not going to blame the girl, but I feel like what she did was a little bit malicious and mean-spirited, because I feel like she did it to hurt his girlfriend, to say, look at me, you know, I'm sleeping with your man, or something like that. That's what I thought initially, because this is a white girl, or she appears to be white. I don't necessarily know her racial makeup because she is Brazilian. But I just felt like a lot of white women that sleep with black men who are in relationships with black women seem to be bold, like, yeah, I can take your man, blah, blah, blah. So I did get that notion that that was what she was trying to do. And now that she got a bunch of backlash, see, she is saying, you know, I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Like, yes, you did. You meant to be rude. You meant to be braggadocious and to say, yes, I'm sleeping with you, saying Bo, ha, ha, ha. Because my mom said, I don't doubt that she knew that he had a girlfriend. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt and said, maybe she didn't know. Maybe she was just hyped that she was hanging out with an athlete, an Olympian. Okay, I get it. But you knew what you were getting yourself into. However, had it been a man posting a picture of himself with Beyonce in bed, people would be giving him dabs, saying, good job for fucking Jay-Z's woman, and calling Beyonce the hoe, calling her the slut for cheating on Jay-Z. You know, it's a double standard where men can cheat, but women have to control their bodies. And, you know, if we cheat, you know, we don't really love the man, blah, blah, blah. But women are replaceable and they can be expendable, and men can cheat and not mean anything by it. So I'm just disgusted with Usain Bolt as well. Like, you are a pig, and for you to blame it on that girl, to say that she threw herself at you when you could have said no. And this is a 20-year-old girl. She's in college and he's like 30. So people are side-eyeing him as well. You are sleeping with a 30-year-old girl, and you probably thinking like, oh, okay, I can sleep with these Brazilian girls, you know, they're easy, they can do what they want with their bodies, or blah blah blah. That's probably what you were thinking, like, oh, okay, I'm in Brazil, I'm an athlete, I can fuck around with all these women. No, you chose to sleep with all these women, and I don't doubt that you slept with more than one woman. And I hope that your girlfriend leaves you. If she has any type of respect for herself and women all over the world, she will leave you. Because if my boyfriend or anyone that I was with said something like, oh, I'm African American, or I'm this ethnicity, and women throw themselves at me all the time, I'm going to be like, well, sounds like you don't have self-control. You're not into monogamy, so I'm just going to leave you. And I have nothing against polygamy. I have nothing against people who are polyamorous. But if one person is monogamous and you're not telling them that you're polygamous, then you're lying to them. And I don't think you should be in a relationship. Because if you cannot control your sexual urges, if you are not into monogamy, then just leave the person who is, and stop trying to have your cake and eat it too. Stop trying to have this image of you being with the baddest bitch in the world while you can fuck all types of women on the side. Because so many people are also saying, oh, the girl that he fucked was ugly. I can't believe this girl will get cheated on. His girlfriend, she's bad. Her body is nice. And I'm like, first of all, you can get cheated on for any reason. Or people cheat on you for any reason because they want to. It's not because you're ugly. It's not because your sex isn't good. It's not because you aren't good enough. It's because they just don't respect you. It's all on them. There's nothing wrong with you. And I don't want people to think that you have to look like Drea Michelle, or you have to look like Keke Palmer, or you have to look like all these Instagram models to not get cheated on. No, because people are trying to say that Mary J. Blige deserved to get cheated on, or it was possible for someone like Mary J. Blige to get cheated on because she's not that pretty, which is a lie. And I know people will feel that way about Leslie Jones. And actually, let's talk about her, because she had her nudes leaked. Someone hacked into her phone and leaked her nudes, which is so disgusting, because she is a dark-skinned black woman and she's heavyset. She's large. Okay? And the fact of the matter is, to have her body objectified brings me back to the Sarah Bartman days, brings me back to how black women's bodies, especially fat black women's bodies, were objectified. And for people to just sexualize her, to objectify her, to fetishize her, calling her body disgusting, and to have her nudes all over the internet without her consent, that was disgusting, and it's just so horrible. And even Katy Perry took to Twitter like, this misogyny war crime has to stop, which I'm not a huge fan of Katy Perry by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I thought her last album was good, but after the This Is How We Do video with the cornrows and the watermelon and the grill, I just did not fuck with her after, because I just can't with Katy Perry, especially being someone who is recently out as bisexual. To have her sexuality exploited just so Katy Perry can get a single out and be Katy Perry that she is today. I never really respected Katy Perry because she used lesbianism, she used female bisexuality to get a single out, because since her respectability politics and being a little Christian singer didn't work out, then she thought that, oh, okay, then I can like exploit gay culture, I can exploit queer culture, you know, my Christian look did not work out, so let me, you know, exploit Christian, or let me exploit queer culture, you know, to get my single out, to be Katy Perry, you know, blah blah blah. Like, you know, it's the same song and dance. You know, people use queer culture to make a profit, and people use black culture to make a profit. It goes hand in hand. So I feel like, Katy Perry, you're a fucked up ass bitch, but you know, maybe you learned. And I'm not so much as mad at you for saying misogyny war. I'm just kind of mad that so many people are acting like they know what misogyny war means now. And people have been saying misogyny war for years, since about 2012. And now that a white woman says it, it's legit. You know, it's no longer a made up word. It's no longer jargon, womanist jargon. It's like a legit word. And I just had to explain that to my mom. She's like, what's misogyny war? I said it's a combination of anti-blackness and misogyny, sexism. It's where misogyny war affects black women. The belief that not only do we face racism, but we also face sexism and misogyny Trans misogyny war is also a thing, to be a black trans woman facing transphobia, misogyny, and anti-blackness. So it's just, I just cannot believe Katy Perry said misogyny war. I was just like, whoa, like Katy Perry. And I just feel like Katy Perry really wants people to forget that she's problematic herself. She hasn't really apologized. She's one of those people that's like, okay, I'm just going to pretend like I never said it and to change my whole views and to act like people done forgot. And Nicki Minaj kind of did the same thing as well. And the thing is, I was problematic. I said some horrible fatphobic things in 2012, and I didn't mean what I said, but I was just trying to say things to hurt girls' feelings. I even said colorist things, or I thought that certain colorist jokes were funny. I didn't understand the harm, and I did understand that saying dark-skinned girls were ugly was terrible. Someone could say dark-skinned girls are ugly, and I would be like, no, that's not true. But if they said little jokes like, oh, you can't wear red lipstick because you're dark, or oh, blonde hair makes you look like a battery, or something like that, I probably would have laughed. Something like that. I said things that were transphobic or ignorant, and I was never the type of person to say, I believe these people should die, or I believe that you should kill someone because of their genitals because she has a dick. I was never that type of person to support that. I thought that was horrible, but I had ignorant beliefs. But I'm not afraid to let people know that that was what I said, and now I changed my beliefs. I say ignorant things about Afro-Latinx that I didn't understand, thinking like I was helping, but I said things about the Afro-Latinx community that I didn't need to say because I'm not Afro-Latinx. I said things about the Jewish community thinking I was an ally that I didn't need to say. But the thing about Katy Perry is she's not acknowledging her mistake. She's just acting like, oh, I never said it and I'm a good person. Like, bitch, check yourself before you try to check other people, okay? Check your misogyny war. Also, Amber Rose. Amber Rose apparently said that she does not identify as a black woman, but she took to Twitter and said, that's not what I said, and y'all are wrong for that. What I said was I identify as multiracial. And my thing with Amber Rose is, as much as I love her, I am kind of looking at her sideways because one minute you're saying you don't identify as a black woman, but all of your politics consists of womanism, consists of black feminism, the usage of the word hoe, which is specifically aimed towards black women. Hoe is a misogynistic, whorephobic term for black women and black female sex workers. So not anyone can just say hoe. So you sit there and say, well, it's misogynistic, so I think all women should reclaim hoe. No, only black women can reclaim hoe. Only black women can reclaim hoe. Black trans women and black cis women. Just because you get called a hoe by a black man doesn't mean that you are affected by that term. It's like a man getting called a bitch. Just because someone calls you a bitch and you may be queer or gay does not mean that you can say bitch because it's not your word. So it's the same thing with hoe. But I feel like Amber Rose, to sit there and say that you don't just identify as a black woman, but everything you do is basically just black, I find that a little bit suspicious. You never said that you weren't black, and you are black, but I just don't understand why a lot of biracial people sit there and say, oh, I'm not just black, but everything you do is black. The people you date, the people you hang out with, the clothes that you wear that's affiliated with black culture, your hairstyles. I mean, recently Amber Rose had some little, what do you call them, Havana twist, or she had, yeah, I think they were Havana twist. I believe that she, or either that or crochet braids. And then recently it's talking about, oh, I'm not just black, I'm multiracial. It's like, but everything you do is just black. I don't understand. It's usually racially ambiguous people who do that as well. White passing people that they know where, oh, I can say that I'm not just black and people will believe me, because I doubt Mel B is saying the same thing. Rachel True try to say that shit about how she's not just black and blah, 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 I'm biracial. But Rachel True looks like me. She looks like she could be my sister. So it's like, it's easy for someone like Amber Rose to say I'm not just black when you look like Amber Rose, or when she looks just the way she does. So, I'm just not here for it. You can identify how you want, but at the end of the day, you're black. I'm not saying that you're not other things, but you're black. Just because you don't identify as black does not mean that you're not black. You you just have more than one identity. You can say that you're black, and you can say that you're white, or that you can say that you're Asian or Irish or any of those things, because you're not just black. But don't sit there and pretend that you're not black at all. You're black. Because I know a lot of people who are black and Korean that will sit there and say, you know, I'm Blasian, which is fine. And they will sit there and say, don't erase my Asian side. But everything they do is black. They talking of they. You know, I don't understand. I never see them affiliate themselves with Asian culture. Maybe they do it with their families, you know. But it's like, in public, it's always black. And it's like, which one is it? To sit there and say you're not just black, which is true, but everything you do is black. It's like, admit the fact that you are influenced by blackness. Like, almost like 96% of your influence and behavior is influenced by blackness, because no matter what, you can't separate yourself from blackness. You can't separate yourself from your POC side as well, and you can't separate yourself from your ethnicity. And yes, Amber Rose can claim that she's Irish. She can claim that she's Italian, because those are just ethnicities. Those aren't races. I don't have a problem with a black person or a mixed person saying something like, I'm black, white, or I'm black and Jewish, or something like that. But as far as, you know, white supremacy, you will never be seen as white. At least you're a person of color. If anything, you're a person of color. You're either black, you're either mixed, you're either biracial, or a person of color. But, you know, you can never really say that you're white if you're half white. And I don't know why you would want to say that anyway, because white people ain't got no culture. You know, you can say that you're part Italian if your white parent is Italian, because you can be black and Italian. You know, blackness can intersect with any ethnicity or any POC culture. Like, blackness and being Asian can intersect. But it's just the whole thing of so many biracial people who are racially ambiguous complaining that we don't accept them as black. But when we try to acknowledge that they are black, then it's like, well, I'm not just black. Like, why do you have to tell us that? We know that you're not just black, but you're hanging out with us, you're dating us, you're fucking us. You're wearing the clothes that we wear a lot. You're wearing the hairstyle. So why can't you just be seen as black? I mean, everything you do is black anyway, so you might as well. I'm not trying to police, but it just doesn't make sense to say that you're tired of people seeing you as just black, but everything you do is just black. You know, it's like you want to be a nigga, but you don't want to be a nigga, and you're actually a nigga. Like, come on now. But that's all I have to say for now. I wanted to get everything out of the way. Oh, by the way, let's talk about the culture of big butts. Now, tell me why so many bitches got to work out to have a big butt. But if I have a big butt, oh, it's because I eat too much fried chicken, which there is nothing wrong with that. Or we're fat and lazy, or we're thick and lazy, or we're curvy and we need to tone down our bodies. Like, funny how black girls that naturally have big butts have to tone themselves, but a white girl can work out and get a big body and she's praised for it. Or we have racially ambiguous models working out to get a butt. But let us naturally have a big butt due to genetics, or due to the fact that we may eat a lot. Then suddenly, oh, you know, fuck your body, it's disgusting. You know, you gotta work out for it. Like, why are we praising Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, and Khloe Kardashian, and Kourtney Kardashian for working out to get a body that we already have? And, you know, to make fun of people like Leslie Jones for her body. And the whole Sarah Baartman situation during, you know, the early 1900s. We have people talking about how their bodies are disgusting, but now, you know, you work out to get a big butt, then it's okay. It's like, you want to be toned. You don't want to have a big butt. You just want to be toned. You want the benefits of a big butt without actually having the thighs, without having the fat, okay? And I'm just sick of it, you know, because I was about to say, you know, walking to school to and fro, you know, I may get a little bit thicker, but I really don't need to, because I eat anyway, and it's genetics, you know. I can't help but have a big butt, you know, my family. And, you know, I'm proud of my big booty. I used